Dragons have been part of China's culture for thousands of years. The dragon is found even today in popular culture as well as in artifacts from China's rich history. The dragon plays an important role in the mythology and in the dynasties of the past. Let's find out more. One of the reasons why dragons were so important to the Chinese is because they believed the rivers wouldn't have existed without the dragons. Here's why. Once upon a time, there were no rivers and lakes on Earth, but only the Eastern Sea, in which lived 4 dragons: the Long Dragon, the Yellow Dragon, the Black Dragon, and the Pearl Dragon. One day the 4 dragons flew from the sea into the sky. They soared and dived, playing a hide-and-seek in the clouds. "Come over here quickly," the Pearl Dragon cried out suddenly. "What's up?" asked the other 3, looking down in the direction where the Pearl Dragon pointed. On Earth they saw many people putting out fruits and cakes, burning incense sticks. They were praying. A white-haired woman, kneeling on the ground with a thin boy on her back, murmured, "Please send rain quickly, God of heaven, to give our children rice to eat." For there had been no rain for a long time. The crops withered, the grass turned yellow, and fields cracked under the scorching sun. "How poor the people are," said Yellow Dragon, "and they will die if it doesn't rain soon." The Long Dragon nodded. Then he suggested, "Let's go and beg the Jade Emperor for rain." So saying, he leapt into the clouds. The others followed closely and flew towards the heavenly palace. Being in charge of all the affairs in heaven, on earth, and in the sea, the Jade Emperor was very powerful. He was not pleased to see the dragons rushing in. "Why do you come here instead of staying in the seas and behaving yourselves?" The Long Dragon stepped forward and said, "The crops on earth are withering and dying. Your Majesty, I beg you to send down rain quickly." "All right, you go back. I'll send down some rain tomorrow." The Jade Emperor pretended to agree while listening to the songs of the fairies. "Thanks, Your Majesty." The 4 dragons went happily back. But 10 days passed, and not a drop of rain came down. The people suffered more, some eating bark, some grass roots, some forced to eat white clay when they ran out of bark and grass roots. Seeing all this, the 4 dragons felt very sorry, for they knew the Jade Emperor only cared about pleasure and never took the people to heart. They could only rely on themselves to relieve the people of their miseries. But how to do it? Seeing the vast sea, the Long Dragon said that he had an idea. "What is it? Out with it, quickly," the other 3 demanded. "Look, is there not plenty of water in the sea where we live? We should scoop it up and spray it towards the sky. The water will be like raindrops and come down to save the people and their crops." "Good idea," the others clapped their hands. "But," said the Long Dragon after thinking a bit, "we will be blamed if the Jade Emperor learns of this." "I will do anything to save the people," the Yellow Dragon said resolutely. "Let's begin. We will never regret it." The Black Dragon and the Pearl Dragon were not to be outdone. They flew to the sea, scooped up water in their mouths, and then flew back into the sky, where they sprayed the water out over the earth. The 4 dragons flew back and forth, making the sky dark all around. Before long, the sea water became rain pouring down from the sky. It's raining! The crops will be saved!" The people cried and leaped with joy. On the ground, the wheat stalks raised their heads, and the sorghum stalks straightened up. The god of the sea discovered these events and reported to the Jade Emperor. "How dare the 4 dragons bring rain without my permission?" The Jade Emperor was enraged and ordered the heavenly generals and their troops to arrest the 4 dragons. Being far outnumbered, the 4 dragons could not defend themselves, and they were soon arrested and brought back to the heavenly palace. "Go and get the 4 mountains to lay upon them so that they can never escape," the Jade Emperor ordered the mountain god. The mountain god used his magic power to make 4 mountains fly there, whistling in the wind from afar, and press them down upon the 4 dragons. Imprisoned as they were, they never regretted their actions. Determined to do good for the people forever, they turned themselves into 4 rivers, which flowed past high mountains and deep valleys, crossing the land from the west to the east and finally emptying into the sea. And so China's 4 great rivers were formed: the Heilong Yang, or the Black Dragon, in the far north; the Wang He, or the Yellow River, in central China; the Chang Yang, Yangtze, or Long River, farther south; and the Zhu Yang, or the Pearl, in the very far south. And that is just one of the stories that explains why the Chinese are so very grateful to the dragons for their existence. This dragon, from the Neolithic Han Shang culture, is one of the oldest artifacts of dragon artwork we have today. Even though dragons were represented in artwork, for many, many years, the poor people or the common people were not even allowed to wear them. Only the emperors could wear anything that had dragons on it. This is a replica of an emperor's robe from the Qin dynasty. Dragons were represented on buildings all over China, in Beijing and everywhere. They were represented on Confucian temples, on palaces, on common buildings, everywhere. These next few slides are just some of the examples of different walls and buildings with the pictures on them. They even were used as drainage spouts. In China today, there is still a festival of the dragon boats that is celebrated each year. However, you'll have to go and research to find out more about this one because it's one of your I'm Through assignments. Even today, dragons are everywhere, on store signs, even on kites that children use, and also as store logos as seen here on this dragon that's outside of a store in Beijing. And as slogans for the Ministry of Water. Can you guess why the Ministry of Water has a dragon as their logo? I'll leave it up to you. Hope you learned a little bit about dragons. Bye.